Hey everyone, and welcome back. It is Saturday, April 11th, and I have been so busy today. So earlier this week, I posted some videos on how I am planting out my snapdragons and how I was tilling and moving a bunch of dirt. But right now, we are going to be doing our winter or spring sowing, as I like to call it. So hey, if you're new here, my name is Christy. I am located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and my average last frost date is between May 9th and May 15th. Usually I plant flowers out after Mother's Day, and then I do any of my tomatoes and peppers, those dahlias, they're going to be after Memorial Day weekend. So we are going to be doing spring sowing, and last year I did this for the first time and I absolutely loved it, and I had so much success with my warm loving annuals. So winter sowing is not just for your perennials or your cool hardy annuals. You can start them about a month to 2 months before your average last frost date. Now, last year, I started mine in mid-March, but we had a fairly warm winter, not too much snow. This winter, however, we were in the negatives for weeks on end at night, and it was so cold. We were always having in the teens, I would say, during the day, lots of wind. So I held off, and it is now almost middle of April, and I am just starting to get my warm loving annuals in my winter sowing milk jugs. So if you would like to know more about winter sowing, I do have some more videos in more depth, especially my winter sowing one, which I will link down below. All of the different videos from prepping your milk jugs to what I am starting, what is winter sowing all about. I did some workshops in my town. I did a winter and a spring one, and we did the spring one about 2 weeks ago, but I was just so busy Easter weekend that I didn't have time to do it. And we actually still have been having some temperatures at night in the 30s. So I just haven't really honestly have had time except for today. So my kids are out having pizza with their cousins and I'm home by myself so I can get stuff done without having to rush for the kids. So I am going to prepare my milk jugs all together with the soil. I am just using some regular potting mix I will say is when you are doing anything outdoors in your winter sown milk jugs, or if you're using like the plastic cat litter or the Coke bottles, you want to make sure it doesn't say moisture control, because you don't want something that is going to hold that moisture. You don't want anything to rot or to have mold or algae growing in there. So I tend to just use regular potting soil. And there's something flying overhead. I don't know if you could hear that, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, let's get into what I plan on starting today. I honestly don't even know how many milk jugs. It's just whatever I have left over from when I had my workshop and I prepared. So I am going to tell you the ones I'm definitely starting and the ones that I will be getting in to a milk jug if I do have time to do so. So I know this might come as a shock, but yes, you can winter sow or spring sow zinnias. I had fantastic results last year. My winter sown zinnias actually did so much better than ones I started indoors and ones I even started in the greenhouse. I transplanted them from my winter sown milk jugs into my pepper bed. They were getting too big and outgrowing the pepper, so I actually dug them up and then I moved them into my tilled beds, and they just did fantastic. They didn't even have powdery mildew. They were hardened off already, so I didn't even have to worry about that, because I completely hate the process of hardening off, which I'm clearly doing right now. I got my Lizzies in there hardening off. So I did really good with Cosmos, Marigold, Straw Flower, even though it's a cool flower. Those did really good. But today it's mostly going to be zinnias. I do have some Cosmos, Marigolds, but for the most part, I am doing zinnias. So for my Cosmos, because I did not have time to do this indoors, I actually have my Johnnies. 3 different ones. They're the double click variety. So I am definitely going to be winter sowing my double click Snow Puff. I have double click bicolor violet, and I also have the double click rose bonbon. So I don't really care for Cosmos, but I really wanted to try these. So I'll probably only be putting about 6 to 8 seeds per milk jug, because they will grow rather fast. And I've had it last year where they were actually popping out of the top of the milk jug. So I only need a couple in there because I don't want them to be overcrowded. But I am just giving these a try this year. I thought I was going to get rid of Cosmos because I just harvesting them and dealing with them, it was just not so much fun. All right, I am definitely going to be starting the Envy variety of zinnias. I love this color. I grew it last year. I liked it, not so much my customers. I did like lots of like green and pink tones, and I found that they kind of were picked up last. The one that I will definitely be growing is Tithonia. Now I got this for 50 cents at Walmart. I had only 5 plants last year, and it actually grew tall taller than the gutters on my first story of my house, which was insane. It bring in so many pollinators, so I really highly suggest this one. I don't know if they really work good for cut flowers, maybe like a day of event, and they don't have the best vase life, but my daughter absolutely loved them because the stems are so soft. And again, it bring in so many bees. They were so happy. I planted them right by my window and we loved being able to see them right outside. Another one that I will definitely be starting is going to be calendula. I probably will be using this more as a trap crop around with my vegetables, more than just cut flowers, but I will be starting some of those as well. And then I have two different varieties of alyssum. I have a pink and I have a white variety. So I'm going to be starting the, it's so windy. So I'm going to be starting these today. These did really good as well. And then I have some French double dwarf marigolds. Now, someone suggested using this as a trap crop and putting it with my tomatoes when I was seed starting marigolds. So I'm definitely going to be taking you up on your tip, and I got a seed packet. So we are going to be starting those. And then I do have some more zinnias, but I do have a black-eyed Susan vine. I grew these indoor last year. I used the extra part of my cattle panel, and I really enjoyed them just vining up as like a little entrance to my garden. So I have some seeds left over, so I'm going to be starting some of those. And then I have a lot of harvested zinnias, and I have some for the school that I'm going to be, that I work at. So I'm going to be adding those to the garden. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of saved ones. And then I just have some random from Fairy Morris. I have like their California Giants. Then I have the Giant Flowered Mixed Color variety by Burpee. And I think I have one other one. Oh, Burpee's Big Mixed Colors. So I have that, and I also have a pink variety as well. So lots of zinnias, and then if I do have some extras, I do have some forget-me-nots, which I might start as well. But that's just going to be on the back burner if I have enough time to do so, if I have enough milk jugs. So right now I am going to get all of my potting soil. It's pre-moistened, but not as damp as it would be if I was seed starting. We do have a couple more cooler nights, but these do act as a mini greenhouse, so they will warm up even though the temperatures do dip down. You want to make sure that they are getting all the weather elements. So sun, I make sure that they are in a well draining area. So I just have them on my deck out back. They'll get sun all day, and they'll also be able to get any rain that might be coming down. So I'm not having them under an overhang or anything. So I'm going to get all of my soil going, and then we'll do a couple of these together, and then I'm going to, as always, speed through the rest and see what I can get done before the kids come back. I'm actually getting pretty cold right now. It's 4 o'clock and the wind is just picking up. It's supposed to be, I think, like 35 degrees tonight, which I'm like, seriously, come on. So I'm probably gonna have to cover up my ranunculus, bring everything in the greenhouse again, and then I think we're in like the 40s for the rest of the week. So at least that's good, because I am so sick of covering everything, but like my feverfew and my dianthus, they've been doing great not covered, so that's great. We have a few things that you are going to need. You're going to need duct tape or masking tape or painter's tape. Whatever you find will be easier to seal this up. I just like duct tape. Sometimes it's kind of a pain to take off, but I'll just take a razor blade. But I was able to get a couple of like packs of them off of Amazon, and they were a fairly good price. And then I have scissors because I don't like to wrap my duct tape around because I always miss. So I will just put it on here and cut a few strips and then gently place like 3 pieces on, so that way I'm not like wasting duct tape by missing out. And I do have a bunch of plant tags and a marker. They're probably gonna blow everywhere. And then I do have my handy dandy mister because I will be adding some water on top, just to help, so that way it stays nice and moist. And I have a little bit of extra potting soil because like my zinnias, for instance, they need to be under 1/4 of an inch of soil in order to germinate. So make sure you read the back of your seed packets, because it will tell you if they just need light for germination, then don't cover them, or it'll tell you if it needs like 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, or usually when the bigger they are, the more they need to be buried. But I will just cover them, mist them in. I will put a plant tag on the inside and still write on the outside what it is. I have found that with a garden marker, These are in the sun and they are not faded, which is great. So that's always good. And you can reuse these if you rinse them out. I saved a bunch of them for my winter sowing and I reused them, which was awesome. And I still have a bunch in my greenhouse that I didn't even touch. So, but I made a bunch of new ones. I figured why not use them? All right, so I have 15 milk jugs, which means we can start 15 different things. I am going to definitely start off with my Cosmos. So we are going to do our double click Snow Puff bicolor violet, again in the rose bonbon. I will do these 3 with you and show you, and then I'll get in a little bit closer as well too, so you can see it up close, and then we're going to speed through the rest just to make it nice and easy for you. So it does say with Cosmos to cover them lightly, so I'm just going to put a very fine layer. So let me do my tag, because I can't tell you how many times I'm so thankful I do the tag because I forget to write it on the outside. So this is a double. And with some things, I will definitely overseed. With like zinnias and cosmos or marigolds, I know that they grow relatively fast, so I'm not going to like overseed. Whereas feverfew and Rebecca, I will definitely overseed those smaller seeds, and I will just chunk them out and plant them out. And I've had great results with that. I did it with also straw flower. I did it with what else did I do it with? Oh my gosh, I can't even think of it right now, but if I remember, I'll put it at the bottom. So these are our Cosmos seeds. And like I said, I'm probably just going to do like 8 of them and really actually try and space them out so they are not... All right, we're going to do 9. I'm going to do 3 rows of 3 because for me, that is plenty. Again, not a huge Cosmo fan. If you are, let me know in the comments how you feel about harvesting them. All right, and I have so many left, and then maybe next year we will start them indoors. But like I said, I had really good luck. So we are going to lightly cover these, and I'm actually, you know what? I am just going to just lightly cover each seed. And oh, I should have said too that I also fill these up about an inch from the top, or maybe more so like 4 inches or so, if you want to talk about the depth. Just making sure that I give it enough space so the roots can develop, but also giving it enough space to grow upwards where it won't be hitting the top too fast. Okay, so now I have my mister. We are just going to mist these, and like I said, I lightly dampen the soil. It's not dry, but this will definitely help out. Oh, sorry, that's going to be in your way. I'm just trying to block everything from going everywhere. So this is what I do. I take my duct tape and I put it on the edge of my table, and I am just going to cut some strips because I just am very bad at estimating where it's going to go, and these sometimes they just bend all over the place. So I will just do 1. So we're just going to be sealing it up, and then I am just going to get the spots that I have missed. So one here, and then we're going to need a longer strip over here. And I've done this with painter's tape, and it held very nicely. And then once it starts to warm up, anytime that it's like, I don't know, maybe in the 60s consecutively, I will undo these, and then I will close them back up at night if it gets cold. But that's only after they start to germinate. So this is going to be, we got it right on the outside, just in case. This is the double click Snow Puff. And today again is 4/11. So I'm very curious to see how these do because we started them so much later than last year. I would probably say like a good 3 weeks than last time. All right, we're going to do a couple more up close and then we'll speed through the rest. All right, so I'm gonna do one nice and close for you. And my seed packets are literally just blowing everywhere. So this is going to be the double click of bicolor violet. And then I like to put mine right in the corner so it's out of the way. Oh my gosh, why did I decide to do this inside? Should have done it in the garage. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Woo-wee! 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, well, 2 got in there, so that's 10 of them. But I tried evenly spacing them out, and then we're going to go back in after I put the rest away and cover them up. Or you can just press them in lightly, I guess. I could do that too. There we go. And then we will water them in. And you want to make sure these do stay moist. So if you're not getting any rain, make sure I just go in with my mister and you can just spray inside. Or you can just take your hose and run it over, or a little watering can. All right, so now I'm just cutting some of these chunks up so we can hopefully close this back up. Oh, goodness. And it doesn't have to be perfect by any means. Just closed up. And you can also, once it starts getting nicer out and they're germinated, you can open them up and you can prick them out if you want to pot them up, if you don't want to chunk them out. But oh my gosh, this is sticky. But I have found just planting them in chunks was great because they kind of end up competing with each other for the sunlight, and then they got really tall. Okay. All right, and just like that, we're done. I'm just going to write what it was, and then we'll move on to our next one. All right, there we have it, another one down. I am going to speed through the rest, and then I'll let you know why I ended up growing at the end. All right, it's officially getting freezing. I have 3 left. I figured we can chat while I do them. So I have a couple of zinnias left, basically some mixed varieties, and then a pink one. So I did a lot of zinnias. I did my marigold, my black-eyed Susan. I tried my saved seeds as well, but I don't know how I did because I think I saved them and then I feel like something happened. And I was like, I'm not sure. But a lot of, I did all my alyssum as well, but lots of zinnias. So I just wanted to let you know you don't have to always do zinnias inside, because I remember when I first did the video, everyone was like, what? You can do zinnias? I said, yes. And they did so stinking good. And, I kind of overseeded because, you know what, at this point I'm just freezing cold and I'm just literally chucking things in. And I shouldn't say I'm freezing cold. It's probably like 50 degrees, but still, for me right now, it is cold. My hands are cold. The wind is just, it's brutal. We had this last year too, where it was just always so windy all the time. And I was like, just why? And plus, I have so many zinnia seeds. And I bought all of these for my winter sewing, or my spring sewing workshop. But everyone did some people brought their own seeds, which was nice. And then a lot of people did the Tithonia and marigold. So I didn't really have too many people going for all the zinnias. So I figured, you know what, I'll just start a bunch of them. And then that way I can plant them at the school and then not take up as much room and have to pop them up. And then my kids from the class were like stepping on everything, like all of my cell trays and whatnot. So this will just be easier. All right, so this is going to be, number 12 or 13. 15 was a nice one. And then I have a bunch on my deck and my hydrangea. Oh my gosh. So if you didn't see the first video, I took some cuttings, or I didn't take some, I should say my friend took some cuttings of her Annabelle hydrangea for me. Because I really wanted to try and see if you could propagate them with the winter sowing method. And I watched a video on it and they said that yes, you could. So I just make sure when I put them in that I had like a node under the ground and then definitely one above so I could get my roots and sprouts. And they are starting to like sprout, I guess you could say, or like the buds are popping. But I'm too excited, and I'm not gonna look now, to see if there's any roots developing, because if I could get a bunch of hydrangeas planted out back, if I could, oh my gosh, I'd be so excited. So like one of my favorite colors. This is the Tetra Giant Mix. All right, we're done. I'm gonna move them where they belong, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and we're gonna wrap things up. All right, and here are all my milk jugs. So this last row on the left is what we did today, and that is everything that I did previously. I have things hardening off, and the sun will be going down soon. But I just wanted to show you, like, here are my hydrangeas. I don't know if I can get it to zoom or focus. So I'm really hoping these put on some roots, but we do have germination. So I have some scabiosa that is germinating. My coneflower is starting to germinate. More look at the hydrangeas. They're all starting to bud up. So hopefully we'll get some roots. We have lots and lots of hyssop, which I'm very excited about. We have a couple of larkspur hiding. Let's see, we have some globe thistle that is germinating. I know feverfew for sure. Look at that. What a pretty sight to see. We have more feverfew. Let's see, more hyssop. I love hyssop. And let's see what else. We have more of my garden coneflower, which is great because I don't need to cold stratify that. And then let's see. Oh, we have some black-eyed Susan. And then a couple of them, they're still empty. It's mostly the coneflower and the hyssop. Oh, what's this? Oh, some more Indian summer. A lot of Rebecca. More Rebecca. And, oh, look, more Rebecca. Oh my goodness. A lot of this is going to the school. And let's see. Oh, and more Rebecca. So here is everything. That concludes today's video. So I hope you enjoyed winter or spring sowing with me. Definitely check back in the middle of May so we can see how everything is looking. If it starts to warm up really rapidly, I might open them up before my average last frost date. I am not one of those people that say, don't open it until your average last frost date, because if it starts to warm up, especially if it's starting to get into the 50s consecutively at night, I like to open them up so that way I can give them a good water and they don't start to fry inside those milk jugs, because they are, again, a mini greenhouse for them. they do stay a lot warmer, and I have found that if I've forgotten about a few of them, they dry out super fast. So again, make sure you keep an eye on them, spray them with the hose, or if you have a mister, put a couple of little pumps in there just to keep them nice and moist so they'll stay happy. Best part is you're not going to be hardening them off by bringing them back inside and outside. I'll just open them up in the day, close them back up at night, maybe do that a few times, and then I just leave them open until I'm ready to plant out. And I mean, I was planting some out weeks beyond my average last frost date, especially my hydrangea seeds that I got from a seed swap. Those I didn't pot up, I would say, until the middle of the summer when they were a little bit bigger. So if you would like to stay updated and see how everything is going, go ahead and click like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I will see you all next time. Happy gardening.